It's time for...
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
An aggressive red-white deck. It's kind of based off of attacking.
So why don't you talk about the commanders? You want to just read
this one's
quick?
called the Blame Game.
Yep.
So commanders are going to end up being Nelly Borka. It's 2 and a red-white, 2/4. I don't have to read that stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that's all right.
Vigilance. Whenever it attacks, suspect target creature, then goad all suspected creatures. And then whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls
Deals
combat damage. Yep. I can't hardly read that.
I know.
That's my bad.
Does
My
combat damage
bad.
to one or more opponents. You and the controller of those creatures each draw a card. And
So-
then your secondary is one of your favorite commanders of all time.
Feather's a fantastic one. I really like the original, the redeemed version. But Feather, Radiant Arbiter, basically flying lifelink 4/3. And then whenever a non-creature spell targets Feather, you can pay 2 to copy it. And so that works really well with auras, instant sorceries. That's kind of what you got going on.
Perfect. And reminder, all these decks are kind of around that $40 price range. I checked TCG. Amazon's a little bit higher at this point. Normally they are one of the lower ones, but TCG at this point, I saw some for 38, around 40. So all of these decks that we talk about are $40. So what's our main ones that we got to talk about that are actually
All right.
have
So
some
you got
value?
2 that are over $10, total of $43. But the first one we're going to talk about real quick is Fiendish Duo, which is a red creature at 6 mana. This is $31. That was it. Yeah.
What? Because it's that one set.
So this has only been printed in foil in a game night set.
Yep.
So this is probably a bigger printing than the first one.
Mhm.
I would suspect this to go down.
Yep.
It's still a really good card at 6 mana. It's probably the best devil out there, questionably, but doubling damage is pretty sweet.
Mhm.
I would suspect it to be more of $10 card
Yep.
than 30.
I can agree with that.
And then the next one would be Comeuppance, which is 11, $12. It's an instant. And this is, it's been printed in Commander. It's a great kind of like protection rebounding piece. This will probably get cut in half. And then after that, you have about what I put down.
Let me
about
jump
11
to
cards.
that. Yeah, let's get over there. So we have, you had 11 cards, total value of $39 about.
39.
And
So
then-
for this one, I would say the total value is about $81.50,
Yeah.
and we're not including new cards in any of this
Yeah.
because you
don't know
they're
where that's
always
gonna go.
overpriced at the beginning. You never really know where it's going to land. So
But you did pick
Just
out 3
reprints.
cards that you did like from this, though, right? So you have
right, there are some 3 cards.
Here,
First
may
one
pull
that
them
we
up there.
want to talk about
Trouble in
is
Paris. That's all.
Trouble in Pairs. This might be the best new card
Yeah,
that
I
I looked
agree.
at
Yeah, I
between
think
the
this is
two.
pretty good.
But this is if an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that extra turn instead. And then whenever an opponent attacks, you with 2 or more creatures, you get to draw a card, or they draw a second card. Each turn, you get to draw a card, or they cast their second
crazy.
spell.
Yeah,
you get
that's-
to draw a card. So this can trigger 3 times in a turn.
That's insane. That's pretty
Right.
great. I mean, and the extra turn thing is like, here, we're just gonna throw this in there because that
Right.
doesn't
Didn't
happen
need to
very
be
often. Yeah, it's like, Matt, we'll cut out something that that players don't like in Commander anyway. So we'll throw that on the card. But the main part of this is that's insane. It's not just one of these. One of these is pretty decent. All
Yeah.
3 of them on one card is really good. So yeah,
Yep.
I dig that one. Okay, and then your next one. I like this one. This one's a little confusing. I had to read it like 4 times to figure out what the hell is going on with it.
Prisoner's Dilemma. It's a sorcery. Each opponent secretly chooses Silence or Snitch. Then the choices are revealed. If each opponent chooses Silence, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 4 damage to each of them. If each opponent chooses Snitch, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 8 damage to each of them. Otherwise, so if it isn't fully agreed upon what's going to happen here,
It does
Prisoner's
12
Dilemma
damage to
deals
the
12 damage
to the
each
people that
opponent
pick the
who
4.
chooses Silence.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's like, I mean, I don't
That
want to
has
be the one
Flashback
that's
7 as
taking.
well.
I don't want to be taking 12, but I also don't want to take 8. But if I vote for the lower end of this, I could screw myself completely. So I mean,
So I don't know how much. I'm not going to say this is an expensive card, but I'm going to say this is a
fun
fun
card. Yeah, that's a fun card. I 100% agree on that. So that one will be good. All right, and then the last one is this Immortal.
AJ's a snitch every time. I wouldn't have guessed that. That surprised me, AJ. All right, last one I want to talk about real quick is Immortal Obligation, instant, and then return target creature card from an opponent's graveyard to the battlefield under their control with a duty counter on it. And that duty counter means that it's goated and can't attack you or a permanent you control and can't block creatures you control. So that's doing quite a bit for an instant at 2 mana in white. You can put one of them aggressive creatures.
Right. It has to be opponent, which is the hard part. Is like if you get to 2 players in this game, then it kind of screws you in a way. But I
mean,
I guess it's
goated, but it still
can't attack you, which is kind of a nice thing.
And it can't block you. So if it gets down to just you and them, it's kind of a dead card.
Yeah. I guess then you're just bringing back something, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I like this one a lot. 4-player games. This is gonna be fantastic. You know, if somebody mills out something in their graveyard, you bring back a big bad beast, and it just annihilates your other players. So yeah, I think this one's really good too. Okay, so let's get to the price of this. We're gonna make the decision. Lowry, is it worth it?
I was hoping you were gonna say it
It's
first.
time for.
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse
So we're
it.
at $40, and then this is a value of 82. Now, like you mentioned, the goblin thing, or no, devil thing, had only been printed once in a game night thing. I don't think that price is going to hold. So I would see that this is going to come down in price. For me, I guess since you're the one that did this, I'll go first, like you were saying. Okay. I think I'm in this boat.
The price is wrong.
I don't think I like this. I like some of the cards in it. If you don't have any of these cards, sure. All of these decks, when we talk about this,
right?
If you don't have any of these cards and you want a deck to start off with, these are all fantastic buys, right? But if you have a lot of this stuff, I don't think there's enough value in there for it to be worth it for me. So I would just pick off these 3 singles for myself and put them in other decks. But everything else, it's like it's not worth it. What about you? What do you think? What are you thinking?
So I agree with you when it comes to strictly the reprints. I would say it's not worth it to buy this deck. But between the 2 decks, I went through the Bant one as well. This one has at least the more interesting new cards, which ends up like I want to get all of them, which ends up maybe being really close to 40 plus the reprints. And so this is, do we got a medium one or I got to make a choice?
You got to make a choice. Is it worth it? Are you going to spend your money on it, or are you going to pass on this one? You personally.
I'm going to pass on this.
The price is wrong.
So the price is wrong.
I'm going to hope. I'm basically Trouble in Pairs. I'm hoping that one it does not explode, and then just buying singles.
Yep.
Out of it. That's what I plan on doing.